Hello, welcome. Today we're going to be going over terrain modifiers, and then I'll do another video probably tomorrow, TM, on combat itself. But today we'll just handle the terrain modifiers themselves. There's three parts to a terrain modifier: movement, which is quite simple. You just move a little bit faster towards that terrain. Attack, which gives you bonuses on the attack, and then defense, which gives you bonuses on the defensive, sort of. We also have three special ones: Amphibious, River, and Fort, which work differently for no particular reason, and the game does not tell you that anywhere. You have two main sources of terrain modifiers for attack and defense: engineer companies and flame tanks. Flame tanks tend to give offensive ones. As we can see here, those are all attack modifiers, and then engineers tend to give defensive ones. But if you come into the research tree, as you get higher levels, you will get bonuses towards forts, rivers, kind of, and then urban. Okay, so we'll start with the movement. So we have the division that has a bunch of modifiers, and then the division that has no modifiers. So if we move into this tile, we can see that the division with nothing is just going to move at 4.2 kilometers an hour. And then with the modifier, we're moving at 4.4 because we're moving 10% faster. So that's great. And if we unpause the game and we let them attack, we'll see that they have different stats. The guys without modifiers are getting a minus 15% from terrain. Because this is forest, it gives an attack effect of 85%. And that applies to breakthrough, hard attack, and soft attack. These guys are only getting a 5%, and that is because they have flame tanks, and the flame tanks are giving them a 10% attack bonus, which is added to the penalty you get from the terrain. So here we're getting a minus 5% penalty, minus 15 plus 10. This penalty can actually become a bonus if you stack enough of them, and that applies to your breakthrough, your hard attack, and your soft attack. When these modifiers say attack, this is a bonus you receive on attack. When these modifiers say defense, this is a bonus you receive on defense. If we look at these guys, they're getting a 25% terrain bonus. The enemy defending in this terrain, that is because they have engineers. So they're going to get 25% more soft attack, 25% more hard attack, and 25% more defense. Right now, the engineers are doing more from their terrain modifier than they are from their entrenchment modifier. And it works the same when you're attacking the mountains. If we go and attack into hills, there are no mountains in northern France, it's a minus 25% penalty. Well, we've got flame tanks, so that's giving us a minus 20.1%. I guess we took a little bit of strength damage, and we're still getting the same across the board, and then the other division's just getting 25%. On top of that, the defending division, which has engineers, is getting a 10% bonus, because engineers give a 10% defense bonus in hills. I mean, urban works the same way. They all work the same way. The modifier is just additive. So here we can attack with two different divisions. We're getting a minus 5% attacking into urban with flame tanks and engineers, or a minus 30% without them. And engineers don't actually provide a defensive bonus in urban, apparently. Yep, there's no defense here. You can also deal with multiple terrain modifiers. If you attack across a river into urban, for example, we're getting a minus 5% from terrain and a minus 10% from river crossing. But wait, we're getting a plus 5% from river crossing here. Welcome to terrain modifiers for rivers. They work differently, like I said at the beginning. So these modifiers are not when you're attacking and when you're defending. These modifiers only apply when you're attacking, or for movement anytime you're moving. There is no defensive bonus across a river. The game doesn't know these guys are in a river combat, but they do know that these guys are because they have the river crossing penalty. And we can see it summarizing for us. We're getting a plus 5% breakthrough penalty because we have flame tanks and engineer companies. And the engineer companies are giving us 35% defense, 10% attack. And the flame companies are giving us an additional 10% attack. So that's 25% attack, 35% defense. So we're getting a bonus to our breakthrough attacking across this river. That's getting canceled out by the terrain modifier. That math does actually work because they're multiplicative. So rivers are weird. There is no defensive modifiers for rivers. What's even weirder is forts. So forts are quite simple. They give a 15% penalty per level. This state has a level 5 fort. That's a 75% penalty. So if we take these two dudes and we just attack in with them, we have a guy with 49.5%. So it was 50 and then 35% before he took damage, and then we have another dude with no modifiers. We are using the attack value again on forts, so we're getting a minus 25.5% penalty here. However, the fort defense from having an engineer company, if we come and look at them, you're supposed to get 35% defense on forts. They're not getting any defense from this. There's no defense buff on these guys, and it's also not using your defense in the same way it does for rivers. It is strictly using your attack value only. The second part of this, the fort defense modifier, doesn't do anything. It literally doesn't work. It doesn't apply like the river one. It doesn't apply like the forest one. It just doesn't do anything. It's a false modifier. It has no impact. So those are all the terrain modifiers other than Amphibious. So let's just launch a little naval invasion here. We'll attack from Dieppe into Calais. Calais is a plane. I don't want other modifiers involved in this. So our naval invasion is ready. We're gonna launch for Calais. If you shift click this with the army selected and then just click the order you want to go, only that one will go. But you have to remember to select the army first, otherwise it doesn't work. So this one also works. We're getting a minus 35% penalty on the division that has 35% attack, and on the division that has no modifier, they're taking the minus 70.7%. Don't ask me why the naval penalty is minus 70.7%. Now we're just going to cancel that, send them back to port, and we're going to do this tech. Landing craft gives invasion defense plus 15%. We're going to do this for both us and for the English. So we have invasion defense, or invasion launched instantly, and we are getting a slight increase. So we started at 70.7. If we reduce that by 15%, we're going to go down to 60. Okay, what if we take 15, we multiply it by itself, and then multiply it by 70.7? No, that's not enough, so it's not squared. The British are not seeing a bonus, but the French are a 3% reduction from 15%. How does that make any sense? I don't know how Paradox manages to do this math, because 15% of some number gives you 3? I mean, that works with 20. Why is it multiplying it by 20? Okay, let's just do the next tech. So we clearly just shown that this invasion defense is a bonus for naval invasion. So you definitely do want to do this tech if you can. And with this change, we're now down to 28%. We have 65% invasion defense, and that's taking us from, without modifiers, from 70.7 to 57.7, which is a bonus of 13%. Why are they applying this to 20? The penalty is 70.7. Don't ask me how Paradox does its math, because that makes no sense. It's a small bonus to naval invasions. And then if you hover here, total attack ability minus 43%, total defense ability 62%. What does that have to do with the price of tea in China? Now we've done the full naval invasion. The penalty hasn't changed. I have no clue what that naval invasion progress modifier is supposed to do, because it's not showing up here in these modifiers. Really, I think all that's telling you is that if you won this battle now, you would land, and the modifiers that show up for it are nothing. Anyways, let's just stop this battle. To recap, if you're dealing with anything that isn't forts, rivers, and amphibious, the terrain modifiers that apply on attack are straight bonuses to all of your stats on the offensive, and the trait modifiers that apply to defense are straight bonuses to when you're defending in those terrains. Movement works always. Actually, I don't think movement works into forts. Yeah, movement doesn't work into forts, by the way. For forts, the only stat that matters is attack. The other two literally don't work. For river, movement works always. Attack and defense only apply when you're attacking. To attack, so your soft attack and hard attack, and to breakthrough, your defense. And then your amphibious attack is just the same as the rest of the terrain modifiers. It's just a straight bonus to your soft attack, hard attack, breakthrough. Anyways, thank you for watching. That is everything you need to know about terrain traits. In general, they are quite good. Anyways, thank you, and I will see you guys next time.